The most common mistake I see e-com brands do is to think that scaling is about increasing budgets and adding on campaigns that can scale. This is far from truth. Most course sellers and educators on YouTube say things like that because it's easily executable and it's easy to believe that it does something, whereas the reality is it does not. And in this video, I will show you exactly how scaling actually works. My name is William and I'm working with a handful of 7- and 8-figure brands and have scaled multiple brands beyond 1 million per month. With that being said, let's get straight into the video. So the common advice when it comes to scaling that YouTube is oversaturated with is, oh, you can vertically scale, you can horizontally scale, you can duplicate your ad sets, you can duplicate your campaigns, that is horizontal. Or vertical, you can just increase by 10%, 20%, 50%, 100%, you can serve scale, right? Now let me tell you the truth. Both of those methods are not for scaling. Yes, you can increase your budget, but will your performance follow? Most of the times, no. Let me tell you why. So what you need to understand is that when you have some ads running, they are targeting a specific audience. And when I say audience, don't think, oh, it's this and that interest group that I selected there in the ad set. No, that's not relevant at all. That's not the audience that's being targeted. The audience that is actually resonating with a specific ad. That's the first thing you need to understand. When you have an ad set and you put some targeting settings and you believe this is your audience, it's not your audience. Every single ad within that ad set resonates with another type of person or with a similar type of person maybe even. But what I want you to understand is that Facebook optimizes on the ad level, not the ad set level, and the specific ad goes out to a specific subgroup of your audience that you define within your ad set settings. That means you can set whatever you want in the ad set setting, but what ultimately targets the people and to determine the person who gets to see your ad is ad creative itself. Now let's say you're running on broad, or let's say you run an interest stack, it doesn't really matter for this explanation. And let's say you have some ads, right? And these ads focus on a specific audience. Like let's say it's a problem solution ad and that goes to a specific audience within your audience, right? Within your potential audience. And of course, like that doesn't cover all the people, because if you target a specific desire or a specific problem, let's say, it would make sense that it targets like everyone, right? It targets a small fraction of people, right? And also your budget is not enough to target all the people. That's the potential audience, right? All the people who would potentially convert from your ads. This is your current audience. What happens if you follow the common advices? Let's say, oh, build a testing campaign, then a scaling campaign, or like duplicate your campaign, or like double your budget, whatever, right? Let's say you double the budget, okay? What you're basically doing is you're telling Facebook, okay, right. So we have this specific ads that are targeting people in here. Let's say you have ad 1, ad 2, and ad 3. You have 3 ads. They target essentially this audience. Now what happens if you just double the budget, right? What happens? If you take this and double the budget, Facebook is obligated to find an audience that is twice as big as your current audience and resonates with these ads as much as possible, right? Actually, in fact, if you don't want performance to drop, it must resonate as much as the first circle, right? Now the thing is, Facebook is not dumb, it's smart, so it already has shown your ads to those people that are most likely to convert. So if you want to scale and you imagine it happens like this when you double the budgets, or like even duplicate your campaign, right? Because essentially duplicating your campaign is doubling your budget. Doesn't really matter if you if you increase the number 2x or if you just have another campaign. It's basically the same thing, although increasing budget is cleaner. But my point is that like you're telling Facebook, okay, now find an audience that is twice as big and resonates exactly with the same ads. Well, surprise, these people won't resonate as much as these people. In fact, the performance will drop. So what will happen is Facebook will just keep spamming this circle with the double amount of budget and double your frequency. So instead of the people inside this circle, instead of them getting your ad once a day, they will get it twice a day. And what does it do? Not much. You will get some more conversions, but your ROAS will drop, your CPA will rise a lot, and this is the common trap. Now you could be thinking, oh no, actually, when I doubled my ad budget, it actually went well, and or like when I duplicated my campaign, and I targeted completely new people. Well, okay, that's something that can sometimes work actually, because when you create a new campaign, the campaign optimizes from 0. So it might actually go to a bit of a different audience. But since your ad creative and since your messaging in the campaign is still the same on the ad creative, it will still mostly overlap and it won't really scale a lot. The other thing is when you actually duplicate campaigns, you create audience overlap, because basically now you have 2 circles focusing on the same type of audience. but the campaigns don't have all the data in one campaign. They have it like spread out, and by doing that you're just kind of losing data and efficiency. If you had all the data in one campaign, it would perform better. Now you create audience overlap, which is essentially competition. Your campaign number 1 versus campaign number 2, and who gets targeted by what, and all of this stuff. So advice number 1, never duplicate your campaigns, no matter what YouTube gurus say. Now, advice number 2, even if you scale, right, you can actually scale because, well, you could be saying, okay, like if I can scale vertically or horizontally, what can I do? Just nothing? Well, that's not exactly true. When you're increasing budgets, you can increase budgets vertically. So essentially, if your campaign is running at like $200 or $300 or $500 per day, you can put it to $600 per day, right? I'm not saying like 300 to 600, that would be pretty crazy, but like, let's say 500 to 600, that's decent. 20 to 30% is usually decent. So you could be like, okay, find me an audience that's slightly bigger, right? Like 10% bigger, 20% bigger than my current audience. And I want you to do this without a performance drop. And usually performance would still drop slightly, but now you're saying, okay, just find me someone who's slightly more suiting. Like, just find me a few more people who are likely to convert from my ads here inside, and it will actually find those people. And of course, again, before it targeted already the best audience before, and now you're forcing it onto more people, you can expect the frequency will go slightly up. You can expect that this audience will convert with less efficiency, so your ROAS and your CPA should still get slightly worse, but you can slowly scale like this. Now again, if all of that makes sense, good, but we want to scale with high ROAS, right? We want to scale with high ROAS, we want to scale with low CPA. How do we actually get to all of this audience? And the answer is, well, it's simple. It's not about anything you do in the Ads Manager. It's about what you do in your research and in your creative writing. Because if ad 1, ad 2, and ad 3 resonate with this audience, let's say those are people who are male, 30 to 35 years old, but your product is also usable by women. Very oversimplified example, but let's say, right? Well, then it's obvious, just make ads with women inside and talking about what they actually want, right? And this will suddenly add on a new audience within your potential audience. And this allows you to, let's say the audience is just as big as the first one, this allows you to literally double your budgets. But this time without crashing performance, because the first ads, like ad 1 to 3 are focusing on the men, and then ad 4, 5, 6 are focusing on women. And this way you can actually increase your budget. So again, don't just duplicate the campaign and like run it at the same scale, of course. Start small, then increase slowly, just as mentioned in this example, like by 20% every single day, as long as you're fine with the performance. And then launch other ads and add them on. You don't even need a new campaign for that. Just launch them in a new ad set. It's fine. You don't even need to change any ad set settings. The ads that have women on it and the ads that talk about, let's say, female problems and the female perspective, they will resonate with women, and Facebook, because it's smart, will show it mainly to women. The male ads will go to men. That's how it works. And of course, like this again is over simplified. Male and mid-age and female and mid-age is not a persona. A persona is way more detailed. It can be, for example, specifically women who have kids but also work a job, so they don't really have enough time for their kids and they have low energy and they feel bad about it, and now there's a product that can increase their energy. And this is a specific persona, not just, oh, women from this to this age. And then you can have a persona, well, in general, like it's an old person, right? And they kind of like energy just from age, because energy levels decline with age. And then of course the angles and the creators in those ads and everything will be completely different. And basically by creating ads that focus on those people, on different audiences, that's exactly how you actually scale. Because if you launch ads that now, again, will resonate with a complete other audience here, now suddenly it allows you to spend, again, like let's say you were spending on this is 100% of your ad spend. Let's say this audience is 30% of the audience that you're currently reaching. Well, then it allows you to spend 30% more. And this is how you scale. So the only other thing you need to pay attention to when you're doing this is that when you are at a smaller scale, when you're at like 50K per month, you can easily scale by launching like 2 or 3 ad ideas a week. When you're at 500k per month, you will need more volume. Because you can imagine that all those audiences need different ads, right? And essentially you want to launch 2 to 3 ads per week per audience. So when you're just targeting one, it's fine and you can scale with it. But when you're targeting like 10 different or 15 different sub-audiences and sub-personas, you want to deliver ads for all of them so they keep performing, so nothing burns out. You can almost treat it like a separate ad account, right? Because those ads, they go to other people, they nurture other people, they convert other people, they don't have like intersecting touch points. So it's essentially a new ad account. And of course you can't get away with just focusing on one audience because, well, you can do that, but then the other audiences will die out and you again like need to downscale and you will be trapped at the previous revenue level. So the point is that you need to add on audiences, but then you also need to serve them with enough new fresh ads. And this is also where creative volume comes into play, but only with strategy, right? If you just pump out lots of different ads, some might hit randomly, but it won't scale predictably. And if you don't plan out the audiences exactly that you want to target and to scale in, then chances are you will just miss a lot of them and miss out on a lot of scaling potential. So if you want to start hitting those numbers like 300k, 400k, 500k and beyond per month, you need to think in audiences and creative strategy, not in ad account structure, not in media buying scaling strategy. And you need to apply the right amount of volume to all of your audiences and sub-personas so that you can effectively scale within them. Now this was the creative strategy part, but if you're still curious, okay, how does this exactly look like in the ad account? Check out this video where I have a walkthrough of the exact campaign setup and what you need to focus on so that you can set this up, run it, and then never think about it again and just focus on your ad creatives and creative strategy. But also, if you want me to come in and audit your account and see your gaps and see your potential and how you can leverage that, click on the first link in the description and schedule a call with me. I will audit your whole ad account structure, your whole strategy, your whole funnel, identify the gaps and build an action plan for you. And if that sounds good, we can move forward and scale your brand together. Keep scaling. Bye.